What is up, YouTube? It is Bomb here, and welcome back to another Honkai Impact 3rd reaction video. Today we are continuing the playlist of all the animation and lore in the chronological order. Rewatching some things I watched months ago with more context, seeing some new things, again more context with it being in chronological order and everything like that. Last time was a really good one. I really got to look at May's backstory a bit more, especially with the Theater of Thunder stuff, and I believe we're gonna still take a look at that a little bit, because the next thing we got here is Thunder Reborn. It is the second chapter of Honkai Operation Center. Yeah, start off a little bit longer one, 14 minutes, but yeah, let's
Greetings,
kick
Captain.
it off.
Welcome back to Honkai Operation
Thank
Center.
you.
In recent stories of Honkaiimpact 3rd, May has been the center of stage. She returned to the city of Nagazora, regained her Herrscher powers, and once again became the Queen of Thunder. How did this heiress of a multi-billion-dollar corporation turn into a Herrscher? What did she experience and witness? To answer these questions, we have divided May's journey into 4 parts: Origins, Valkyrie, Arc Fugitive, and Returning to Nagazora. May Raiden was born on April 13, 1997 in the city of Nagazora. Her father, Ryoma Raiden, was the head of Massive Electric Corporation. May's mother, however, passed away when she was young, and her name remained a mystery.
Oh, dang.
May was enrolled in the elite high school of Chiba Academy. Only children of rich, powerful, and connected people could hope to study there.
Oh, that's
And
why
May
the
Raiden
kids
happened to be one of them, and she was so much more. She was beautiful, tall, and intelligent. Everyone in school idolized her. But this didn't last forever. Disaster struck ME Corp that her father owned. Ryoma Raiden became a criminal, guilty of economic fraud, and went missing to avoid arrest. May's life was turned upside down. Her classmates and even teachers turned cold and ostracized her. That was when she learned that their friendship and adulation were only reserved for her family fortune and prestige, and those had
That's insane about the kids are one thing because they're still young, and then like I don't know what grade that is, but teachers gotta know better. Like separate the children from the parents.
Disappeared when her father ran away. Left alone to face an uncaring world, May soon became extremely jaded and started hearing a voice echoing in the darkness. It promised terrible powers. This world deserves to be destroyed. She chose to become a Herrscher and ignited the 2014 Honkai outbreak in Nagazora. Millions died as a result. While May reveled in her new powers, a mysterious silver-haired transfer student named Kiana
So okay, I was kind of hoping I was gonna get a little more information. Okay, after everything fell from her,
to face an uncaring world, May soon became extremely jaded and started hearing a voice.
So she became a Herrscher. She started to what made her become a Herrscher? Is it because she was in despair? Did the Honkai energy seek her out or something, or did she I thought they said last time she got she was caught in the eruption, but then this one said that she caused it.
Voice echoing in the darkness. It promised
So
terrible
I'm a little
powers.
confused on that.
This world deserves to be destroyed. She chose to become a Herrscher and ignited the 2014 Honkai outbreak in Nagazora. Millions died as a result.
I thought she got caught up in that.
While May reveled in her new powers, a mysterious silver-haired transfer student named Kiana Kaslana suddenly appeared to stop her. Instead of trying to kill May for destroying the city, Kiana appealed to her human conscience. With her help, May successfully subdued the Herrscher within, and Kiana quickly became a close friend. The two girls met Bronya, and the 3 of them worked together to flee the stricken city. They were then taken into custody by Himiko, a Valkyrie of Shiksal's Far East branch. Teresa Apocalypse, who's in charge of the Far East branch, used all her powers and resources to enroll the 3 girls into her own Valkyrie training school, St. Freya High. And that was May Ryden, an ex-heiress once worth billions who lost both her parents, became ostracized, acquired Herrscher powers, destroyed a city, met 2 very good friends, and started training to become a Valkyrie and defend the world against the Honkai. May was ever fearful of the Honkai within her and agreed to let Himeko implant a heart bomb. The bomb has a sensor that will start a countdown if it detects Herrscher impulses within May. During her training, May and her friends Kiana and Bronya took on many missions that included stopping an ancient Honkai monster, Chio, and recovering a runaway battleship known as the Selene. May also demonstrated her superb cooking abilities. She even learned to play video games. But things would once again turn for the worst. Shortly after graduating as fully minted Valkyries, May, Kiana, and Bronya were sent to Schicksal's Oceania branch to recover a Herrscher core, the Gem of Desire. The gem was placed in an ex-Valkyrie named Wendy, who served as its human vessel. But Wendy eventually lost control and became a Herrscher herself. While the young Valkyries battled Wendy, Kokolia from Schicksal's rival faction of Anti-Entropy ambushed them, using a brain chip implant to control Bronya and capture both Wendy and May. While May was held as a prisoner to be experimented upon for her Herrscher powers, Bronya chose to sacrifice herself by burning out her brain chip so that Kiana and the others could rescue May and escape.
Dang.
May soon realized that her friends often suffered grievously just to save her. A sense of helplessness and a matching desire to get stronger began to grow in her heart. That wasn't the end of the bad news. As Teresa and the Far East branch worked around the clock to wake Bronya from her coma, Schicksal overseer Otto Apocalypse suddenly abducted Kiana and took her to his secret headquarters. It turned out that the overseer always had a secret plan of reviving a Herrscher known for her burning hatred against humanity. May, once hopeful that she could protect the world as a Valkyrie, realized that she simply wasn't strong enough. Bronya went into a coma to save her, Kiana was kidnapped, and her ultimate superior, Otto Apocalypse, turned out to be a scheming supervillain who would soon unleash a terrible Honkai disaster upon the entire planet. Once again, May's life entered another pivotal moment. Kiana was revealed to be an artificial clone designed by Otto that served one purpose only: to serve as a vessel to Sirin, the second Herrscher who was defeated in the year 2000. To rescue Kiana and stop the impending Honkai eruption, Teresa of the Far East branch rebelled against Overseer Otto. May also became part of the alliance forged by Teresa and Anti-Entropy. And together they fought their way into the headquarters of Schicksal itself. While battle raged, Sirin began to stir in her slumber. The second Herrscher gradually assumed control over Kiana's body and summoned a horde of Honkai beasts. To help clear the way to the possessed Kiana, Teresa decided to remove the heart bomb from May. May was grateful for Teresa's trust. Armed with the power of the Herrscher within, she easily defeated numerous enemies. But all her struggles were in vain. When the rebels stepped into the heart of Schicksal, Sirin's persona had already succeeded in fully possessing Kiana. A terrible battle followed. Sirin tore away the Gem of Conquest from May's body and acquired even greater powers. The brutal removal of the Herrscher core also took May out of the fight. Just when all hope was lost, Himeko entered into the fray and bravely fought Sirin. Her selfless fight gave everyone the time they needed to escape. Teresa and the exhausted rebels withdrew from Schicksal. They failed to stop Otto and Sirin and became fugitives on the run. The Battle of Schicksal was yet another blow in May's life. She couldn't save her best friend. Sirin even took May's core, gaining greater powers to wreak havoc on the entire planet. And in the face of such an enemy, May's only option was to flee.
I see how things are adding up for May, and that seeming like just how like and just things just aren't going her way. It's sad.
Having been on the run for 4 months, Teresa came across witness reports of Kiana at Arc City, located in Shenzhou. Teresa, Bronya, and May tried contacting an intel dealer named Grey Serpent. Instead, they came across the Ningyo, a cyborg girl who might know Kiana's whereabouts. But Shixal's agent Rita suddenly appeared and defeated the three fugitives. They were forced to retreat with the Ningyo. The bad news was that the Ningyo no longer had any useful data after being formatted by Rita. May, who felt she had been performing poorly in battle, asked Dr. Tesla to make her an augmented battlesuit to work better with her residual Herrscher powers. Meanwhile, the fugitives also decided to split their forces in two. Teresa would respond to Kokolia's request and head to the Deep, located in the Pacific, to retrieve the Gem of Desire. May and Tesla would return to AE headquarters with the Helios to repair the Ningyo for data salvaging and locate Kiana's whereabouts. While May and Tesla worked on the Ningyo, the cyborg suddenly conveyed a message from Rita. Rita revealed that Kiana was indeed in Arc City to investigate a mysterious serpent-backed company. Kiana even agreed to form a temporary alliance with Rita. But Rita soon walked into a world serpent trap and lost her S-rank Valkyrie powers. Kiana was also captured by the world serpent. With little options left, Rita thus decided to call May for support. Though suspicious of Rita, May would not give up any chance of reuniting with Kiana and went back to Arc City eventually. May was also surprised that Rita did not lie and even tried working with her. May did get what she wanted, reuniting with Kiana. She asked her friend to return to the Hyperion. However, Kiana chose to stay in Arc to stop the World Serpent from creating an artificial Honkai eruption in the city. A World Serpent mercenary named Raven tried to stop Kiana, and the two girls fought her off, only to realize that Raven succeeded in delaying them. A wounded May could only see her friend tapping into the Forbidden Void powers to send the detonating Honkai reactor away from the city and save millions of people.
Yes,
Kiana passed out from overexerting herself and fell. Her deadly descent was stopped by a tree that sprouted from a lance. May rushed forward to save her friend, only to find out that Durandal, the most powerful S-rank Valkyrie of Shixal, had arrived first. And this Valkyrie was ordered to take Kiana away. No matter how hard May fought, she couldn't stop Durandal. Once again, the cruel hands of fate tore them apart.
Dang.
The attempted reunion with Kiana at Arc City only deepened May's angst. She was too weak to stop Shixal, and her weakness allowed them to take Kiana. Though imprisoned at Shixal's Vemur Labs in North Africa, Kiana managed to escape during the chaos caused by a World Serpent attack. She used her Void powers again and teleported herself to Nagazora, the place where she first met May. Dr. Tesla detected the energy fluctuations from Kiana's teleportation, and thus the fugitives headed toward the city that was destroyed by the Honkai eruption 3 years ago. May and Tesla arrived at the city ruins and tried looking for Kiana. Instead, they found scavenging children living in shelters who survived the Honkai disaster. And the sensei protector of these children who helped build their shelters was none other than Raven, the World Serpent mercenary that May fought in Arc City. When facing rising sea levels and Honkai resurgence, and also due to her need to protect the children, May agreed to set aside hostilities and join forces with Raven. Together, they located Kiana's whereabouts and even defeated the Honkai dragon Benares that was trying to protect its queen. Then Raven revealed her intent for coming to Nagazora. She wanted to kill Kiana and end the threat of the Honkai she poses. Nevertheless, Raven gave May a chance to stop herself. May drew her blade without hesitation and ended her brief alliance with Raven. But without her Herrscher gem, May was no match against Raven. The mercenary even scoffed at her, calling her no different than an ordinary human.
Dang.
May knew that Raven would kill Kiana once she was defeated. She decided to sacrifice herself and started concentrating Honkai energy within her. Raven was shocked. She just witnessed a coreless ex-Herrscher releasing a sudden burst of terrible power. She therefore allowed May to take Kiana away. After enduring many battles and defeats, May was finally able to bring Kiana home. But then Dr. Tesla told her the bad news. The 3 Herrscher cores within Kiana had overloaded her body with Honkai infection. She had less than 2 months to live.
Bro.
May found herself utterly helpless after hearing the bad news. She also found that Kiana had lost several senses and could not even taste the food she cooked. The World Serpent, however, was well aware of the relationship between May and Kiana. Kevin Kaslana, the sire of the World Serpent, met May in person. He was a previous era survivor and lauded as their most powerful warrior. Kevin promised May that the World Serpent could save Kiana's life, and that would...
Where the hell is that coming from? Sorry, something started playing for me. I don't know what that was.
Kevin promised May that the World Serpent could save Kiana's life, and that would require May to simply become a Honkai Hersher once again. Once May became a Hersher, one of the Hersher cores infecting Kiana would dissipate and reappear in May instead,
okay,
greatly
so
reducing
that,
Kiana's infection.
That's
But
why
May would have to leave Kiana and join the World Serpent to ensure that their grand project succeeds.
I was another thing I wasn't 100% on how May becoming a Hersher like just somehow like helped Kiana, but that explains it.
And when Project Stigma successfully reforms the human race and defeats the Honkai, Kiana would no longer have to sacrifice herself to protect the world. To save her dying friend, May accepted the Serpent's offer without hesitation. And shortly after making her choice, a channel into the Sea of Quanta suddenly appeared in Nagazora. It turned out that Otto had fired the second divine key to create a channel right through the sea. And this was only possible because of the deal that Kevin and Otto made a few days ago. Kevin told May that she should take this chance to absorb Honkai energy seeping from Nagazora and complete her metamorphosis. Everything that began in Nagazora would end in the same city. 3 years ago, Kiana stopped May from becoming a Hersher, and the two girls became best friends. And now, May has decided to become a Hersher once more, just to save Kiana. When the transformation is complete, May will have to betray her friends and join forces with the enemy. But that's the price she needs to pay. Entering the darkness is the only way she can return Kiana to bliss. We're happy that you managed to stay with us and reach the end of this video. We would also like to know what you think about the story so far, and what you would like to see next.
It is very, very
Background
good.
history of the factions such as the World Serpent, Sheiksal, and Anti-Entropy, or background stories of characters on your Valkyrie roster. Perhaps even secret technologies of the previous era. Do leave your opinions in the comments section. We'll see you next time.
That is definitely a video that I feel like absolutely needed to be rewatched, because I believe I did watch it way back when. I was one of those I watched back then. But that was a lot of like story and information at once, like for someone who didn't really know too much about like the game or even the characters. I don't like. I'm glad I watched it back then, because now watching it the second time, it makes more sense. I picked up on a little bit more things, but definitely rewatch vibes were necessary. So yeah, that really explained well the story between May and Kiana and things up until now. And even, a little bit of the Bronya at the beginning. So yeah, I'm starting to really understand the story now, I think. At least, for a bit of it. I'm not like, there are probably some things slipping through the cracks that I don't know entirely, but I'll probably get, eventually. But yeah, in this one, speaking of, what I just said, this one's literally just called Honkai in a nutshell. Honkaiimpact 3 recap.
坏，它的历史远比我们想象的要长。
Oh.
早在5万年前，他就赢得了一次自己的战争，将上世代人类文明抹得一干二净。他还曾将我心爱之人夺走，让我踏上了拯救他的征途。
This is Otto.
当第一律者诞生之时，我曾与他进行了亲切交流。
So even in the first Hersher.
当然，结局并不是很令人愉快。不久后，第二律者也随之诞生，而我则在他身上看到了复活重要之人的希望。在那场战斗中，不断有人奉献了自己的生命。那些为未来开辟道路之人，有的永远长眠在了西伯利亚。时过境迁， 崩坏不断肆虐，而与之对抗的力量也迎来了新的血液。他们曾经历背叛与阻挠，也曾齐心协力共度艰险，甚至触及到了某些不该知道的秘密。梦境总是美妙的，它反映出了我们心中最真实的愿望。只不过，再美好的梦，也总有它醒来的一天。而到那时，我那宏伟的计划也将迎来新的篇章。当崩坏的女王降临，世界臣服于她脚下，有人毫不犹豫地举起了手中的剑刃，与神为敌。说实话，我敬畏那些燃烧自己生命的勇士，他们用自己的信念为世界换来了短暂的和平与安详。但他们不曾发现，我的计划正稳步行进，而一条巨蛇正从黑暗中醒来。大崩坏后，人们再次踏上了自己的道路。他们有人寻得力量，实现了自己曾经的约定。
This is a super summary so far.
有人则消耗生命拯救他人，只为实现了自己的承诺。流星的光芒如此耀眼，引得众人争相追逐。与那耀眼的星光，或许只想拯救一颗流星。既然有争夺，就总有败北的一方。但渴望重要之人回到光明的愿望，却似乎更为强烈。为此，他不惜投身黑暗，甚至不惜化身罪人，也要将那命运的桎梏斩断。他们的故事还没有迎来结局，崩坏的故事也同样在继续。未来的道路究竟会延伸至何方？就让我们拭目以待吧。
So yeah, it's a summary up until that point. Very interesting stories so far.
Honkai. この文明とともに誕生した意志は
Is this one we have Honkai verse retrospective?
文明を破壊することを最終目標とする。どれほどの年月、どれほどの時代が過ぎたとしても、崩壊は常に暗闇で人類の文明を狙ってきた。それは僕たちの故郷を奪い、僕たちの愛するものを奪い、僕たちが送るはずだった平和な日常を奪った。僕は彼女に、人々に約束をした。どれほどの対価を払おうとも、人類と崩壊の戦いを必ず勝利に導くと。俺はこのベルト、人類を代表してお前に挑む。
祖先の羽、第一帝国出力、大巨剣心、
天下制裁、力を解き放て。最愛の人を守るために、俺は喜んで命を捧げる。
ごめんなさい、チークフリート。一緒に帰れそうになれば。黒煙白化、清潔解
放。崩壊が通った土地は満身創痍。死を蔓延させる余人の他に何も残らない。しかしこの果てしない余人の中で新たな芽が密かに成長している。
これが私たちの物語。遠い昔から始まった。
誰であろうとも彼女を救う道は邪魔させない。
Ooh, and I'm hearing like the songs in like the background.
あと一杯飲みたかったわ。顔を上げなさい。あんたは前に進むのよ。
行きましょう、全部。ジェール、今前に行きます。この完璧じゃない世界は私たちの望み通
あなたを助けることが罪。その罪は私が背負う。
Oh. Oh. The pictures. That was a pretty good video. That was a sick one. Another recap of seemingly everything that's happened so far. But that was a pretty nice way to do it. I have feathers of eons. Fuha character song. Hopefully that wasn't that turned down this whole time. Noise. Okay, this is the full song. Maybe we're getting to Fuha stuff now, maybe? So I got a little bit into the song and realized the captions weren't on, so I'm gonna restart it. So I trusted that they'd turn on if I needed them, and they failed me. Sorry. 「 another banger. Fire, very nice. I like Fuha's theme song as well. New chapter trailer, Reawakening.
この果てしない夢の奥で変わり果てた自分を見つめる
Yo, that was quite the scream.
Tomoか敵か選べ。
いろいろあった過去、結果は失敗のみ。守りたい人も皆消えてしまいました。骨に刻まれるほどの憎しみだけが生まれ変わるほどの成長を遂げさせます。
Oh no. Oh my.
この手で世界を望むままに変えましょう。
Evil Hersher Fuha.
私がわからないのですか。キアナ。私は全てを変えます。
Yo, that's actually pretty creepy. I forget if I seen that one or not. That was very, very interesting seeing Fuha like solo everyone in a sense. We're back on Potato Almanac. Why is Kevin evil and Project Stigma? Shout out to Potato Almanac, and also shout out to anyone who makes informative videos about the Honkai that help people trying to learn more about it, like myself.
Kevin is a character that I really don't know much about. He kinda just randomly emerged as a leader of another faction.
Okay, so it's not just me. He just came out of nowhere. There's some people just come out of nowhere. Good to know.
With the memories of companions, the will entrusted to all, to the promised future for all. This is the model of the World Serpent, which Kevin leads. The model ties into the goal of the organization, which is Project Stigma, basically forcing a small percentage of people to develop stigmas by exposing them to Honkai energy, similar to the Nagasora outbreak that resulted in Mei developing a stigma. Like Nagasora, it's expected that it would result in catastrophic casualties among those involved. By all accounts, it's a terrible plan, yet this plan is still being carried out, which resulted in the events of Chapter 14. Considering Kevin is said to be one of, if not the best, the greatest hero of the human race in the previous era, you can't help but ask, why is the hero of the previous era attempting what is basically a mass genocide? To find out, I dove into the game's manga, specifically Second Key. Once upon a time in the previous era, Kevin, who was a happy, outgoing student, took interest in a nerdy girl named Mei. the May from the previous era, not Raiden May. For the sake of clarification, I'll call her Dr. May. Dr. May is known for her smarts.
So that's a
One day,
different May, but they
Honkai
look
disaster
exactly the
struck.
same, okay.
Dr. May was recruited by the Fire Morph, an anti-Honkai organization.
Is that why he took interest in this, offered May the opportunity to save Kiana because she looks like the Dr. May?
Kevin, who at this point had grown pretty fond of Dr. May, offered to become a soldier of Fire Morph to follow her. During their time in Fire Morph, Kevin received many modifications, one of which a strong freezing ability, the unfortunate result of which lowered his body temperature to the point that forbade him from normal contact with humans, which of course included his beloved Dr. May. Kevin went on to claim many victories against the Honkai. As we know, the previous era was eventually destroyed by the final Herrscher. Kevin, who survived the final battle, returned to find out that Dr. May had succumbed to Honkai infection. This left him heartbroken, starting his descent into who he is in the storyline today. Dr. May left contingency plans in case everything went south, which it did. These plans included things like putting survivors in cryogenic sleep and the notorious last resort plan, Project Stigma. She entrusted the surviving humans to carry out these plans, calling them the Pioneers. They are tasked with helping the future Coven-era civilization survive against the Honkai. By utilizing these projects Dr. May laid out, most of these projects severely backfired, even resulting in losses for the Pioneers. After witnessing the failure of many projects, Kevin decided to carry out the last resort plan, Project Stigma, with his catchphrase, "Humanity must defeat the Honkai, no matter the cost." With the memories of companions, the fellow pioneers lost along the way, the will entrusted to all Dr. May's plan, to the promised future for all, the future where humanity defeated the Honkai. Being a plan of its magnitude, one pioneer who is his best friend attempted to stop him. This resulted in a scuffle that left Kevin sealed in the Sea of Quanta, where he would eventually be freed at the end of chapter 12. Kevin's motivation for carrying out Project Stigma can be traced from that one time he stated the reason he joined Fire Morph was for selfish reasons, which was obviously for Dr. May. In his scuffle with his best friend, many arguments was brought up on the topic of Project Stigma. One important thing that were brought up is that the pioneers were basically acting as gods to the current era, as very well said by one of the pioneers. We, the pioneers, don't have the right to play God and decide the fate of this era. We told ourselves that they will have the right to decide their own fate, yet we also felt obliged to enforce our beliefs upon their problems. The people of this era have gained the wisdom to choose their own path, the courage to start their own journey. Kevin believed that even though Project Stigma would result in horrific losses for the humans of this era, it is still better than inaction. Kevin doesn't believe that the humans of the current era can survive against the Honkai by themselves. After all, even with a united humanity in the previous era, they eventually were defeated. Then how can these ragtag efforts of the current era hope to survive? Kevin wants to lead humanity to victory against the Honkai, with a total disregard for the cost. Part of his determination stemmed from his heartbroken history with Dr. May that made him into who he is in the current storyline today, the cynical and bitter hero of the previous era. Regardless of what we think, it's up to our characters to do what they must with Kevin. With his very insane plan, it's inevitable that there would be conflict down the road. Until then, that's it for today. I'll see you around.
Interesting. Thank you, Potato Almanac. Yeah, that was the first time I ever even heard of Dr. May or the second May, so that was very interesting. And videos like that do tend to pull from like manga sources. I know there is some manga I've been told about and to check out, and I've been thinking about maybe doing like a video on that sometime, looking into the manga stuff. So I don't know if like a reading video would be something that would be anything interesting. I sometimes I feel like I'm a terrible reader. I know that sounds weird, like just reading out loud. Like when I read in my head I seem fine, but out loud it's like sometimes. But I typically sometimes don't like when like games like almost like have like out outside lore to it that's like too deep that like you almost like need to know. Like extra stuff is fine, but like Halo I thought got a bit much, and like they like incorporate into the games, and as like a game only fan, like at like Halo like 4 and 5 I was kind of lost at some areas, some parts. But Honkai is a little different for me. It just seems like it's always pretty interesting. I guess because I'm like learning the lore, like not through the game, but like through like outside sources. It's a bit different. So yeah. All right, we are a bit already a bit long on this recording, but I'm gonna do this one last video. It's 9 minutes. We got another Honkai Center. We got Fuha. So we're gonna learn about Fuha. It's thundering outside. I heard the Hersher thunder, man. I'm worried that the power's gonna go off, and then that doesn't always do it, but it was storming a bit bad, and sometimes the power blinks off, and that would like murk this whole recording. Okay. Just start a new recording. That makes the most sense. Work smarter, not harder. But yeah, we're gonna do this one more video here, Fuha. Another Operations Center, but it sounds like it's a different narrator.
Greetings, Captains. Welcome back to the Honkai Operations Center. As time flows forward, Fuhua has shaped the history under different names and identities. The 8th Hersher, who calls herself Fuhua, has now appeared before us. But who is she really? What has Fuhua undergone in 50,000 years? Let's take a closer look at the long and solitary life of a warrior. Fuhua was born in the lower district of a previous era metropolis. She grew up practicing martial arts after her father and lived a disciplined life. Due to her humble origin, plain appearance, and straight, reserved personality, Fuhua was a loner when she studied in Sapphire. Only until she saved a classmate during a zombie attack did she gain the acceptance of those around her and learn to warm up to people. But just when she was beginning to envision a bright future, fate forced her on a path that she had never imagined. The Honkaiimpact tore what she knew apart. The city was burned to the ground and her family and friends were killed. Fuhua fled and was saved by Moss Squad 5 leader Himiko. In a world where one could not survive alone, Fuhua could no longer afford to dream and was only left with the mission to eliminate Honkai. Fuhua joined Moth as a soldier, but she was still too weak to save anything. Cities fell. Billions of lives perished. Her savior, Himiko, died in the hands of her comrades after transforming into a Hersher. She only had the passion to defeat Honkai, not the power to realize it. In the face of an overwhelming enemy...
What? Is there a second Himiko that died? What is happening? Does everyone have two characters? I already thought that, like, Teresa, Kiana, and someone else was all the same person. No wonder why I was confused at first.
Was running away the best thing she could do? Fuhua did not accept her fate. Burning with a grudge against her fate, Fuhua was reborn after challenging death. In an experiment that was deemed lethal, Ikor miraculously fused with her and transformed her into a mantis. And the user of Key of Domination, as well as Fan Huang Down, the mantis brought home one victory after another, until the final Hersher descended. Humanity stood no chance in the decisive war. The few that survived forfeited their civilization. They put themselves into cryogenic sleep so they could start anew when the time arrives. And so Fuhua's story enters the next chapter. After 10 millennia of sleep, Fuhua was awakened as the executor of Project Ember, whose mission was to guide the people of the new era in developing their civilization and resisting Honkai. Fuhua was not alone in this. She was surrounded by lifelong friends who genuinely cared for her and wanted her to take back her life. Yet she lost all of them in a judgment-class Honkai disaster. Fuhua became alone again. As a mantis, she is immortal. As the user of Fan Huang Down, her memories last forever. In Fuhua's near-everlasting life, as fleeting as her interpersonal encounters may be, the inevitable parting that ensued would still scar her for life. With her last friend gone, Fuhua closed off her heart. she secluded herself from the earthly world, carried on the mission of eliminating Honkai like the programmed robot. No mercy for the corrupted became her sole code of conduct. She only cared for the mortals' corruption, not their lives. In 1458 AD, Fu Hua founded the School of Taishuan at Mount Taishuan, Shenzhou. It was to safeguard Shenzhou and cleanse the world of Honkai. The School of Taishuan, which only had 7 disciples, dominated the martial arts world with the Edge of Taishuan, a secret sword fighting style that could channel Honkai energy. To the ordinary people, Fu Hua was as untouchable as a celestial, and hence was named Phoenix. In 1475 AD, on the Kipchak steppes in Central Asia, Fu Hua single-handedly trounced Shiksaw's elite forces and their strongest Valkyrie, Kalin Kaslana. This battle also led Fu Hua's first encounter with Otto Apocalypse, her lifelong rival. In the next year, for reasons unknown, her 7 disciples mutinied and razed Mount Taishuan to the ground. Fu Hua was grievously injured. Having lost her full power and immortality, Fu Hua temporarily withdrew from the world. Since she could not protect Shenzhou in a powerless state, she made a pact with Otto. Fu Hua joined Shiksaw and worked for Otto. In return, Otto pledged to watch over Shenzhou in her stead. In 2000 AD, the second Honkai eruption brought total...
So that is... Oh, so... That's how, Fu Hua and Otto became, like, partners. I was wondering, again, the part, earlier, I heard about, like, Fu Hua, like, and Otto, like, or Fu Hua working for Otto. I was like, that... What?
Total destruction.
That makes more sense now.
It was later known as the most devastating Honkai disaster of the current era. In a few days, multiple major cities were destroyed, resulting in millions of casualties. In this war, Shiksaw and the anti-entropy fought back in full force. Fu Hua was dispatched to subdue the Herschers as a Shiksaw Valkyrie. In Fu Hua's long life, she has never ceased rethinking what fighting means, so she may one day slay all Herschers and eliminate Honkai. By then, she had found the way of defeating a Herrscher. With unparalleled combat experience and Feng Huang Down's power, Fu Hua overwhelmed the pseudo-Herrscher of fire and temporarily suppressed the second Herrscher, who possessed 6 Herrscher cores. Yet even with such nigh immeasurable power, she could not defeat the second Herrscher, who was under the protection of the will of Honkai. At the critical moment, Fu Hua sacrificed Feng Huang Down and her memories to activate Feng Huang Down's first power, Taishuan Eminence. It severely wounded the second Herrscher and cut off her connection with the will of Honkai, creating an opening for humanity to turn the tables. Fighting this war cost Fu Hua her memories and most of her power. Over a decade later, Fu Hua enrolled at St. Freya as an undercover agent. She became the class monitor of Kiana's class.
Oh, she's
surveilled the activity of the Herrscher of the Void inside Kiana.
Oh, yeah.
Although she approached Kiana and her friends with an ulterior motive, she regained long-lost friendships and bonds in a campus life full of joy and laughters. She carried out Otto's orders while secretly helping out Kiana and her friends to protect an addictive yet fragile balance of fate. However, the mission of eliminating Honkai ultimately made her side with the other end. She took away Kiana and helped Otto rouse the Herrscher of the Void. Little did she know that Otto did not play by the contract. He only roused the Herrscher for his selfish desires, not to protect others. To keep Fu Hua out of his plan, he shot her. To stop Otto's plan, Fu Hua activated Feng Huang Down's 0th power before dying, to transfer her sentience partially into the feathers and bind her sentience with Kiana's soul. Feng Huang Down, which bore Fu Hua's sentience, led Himiko to the power that could confront the Herrscher of the Void and provide the serum that could quell the Honkai energy inside Kiana. When Bronya was trapped in Grey's Serpent's Mind Labyrinth, Feng Huang Down appeared in time to help her escape. After the Herrscher of the Void begot a Honkai eruption, Kiana sunk into self-blame and loss. It was Fu Hua's sentience that supported her and taught her how to harness the Herrscher power. At last, to protect Kiana, Fu Hua's sentience burned herself out in the battle against Kevin and fell into a slumber. However, that was not the end of her story. After the Shixal battle, Otto repaired her body, only to revive a Fuhua that was not the fighter who upheld her mission above all else and abolished her own desires. She had the looks of Fuhua, but uttered frivolous, arrogant, and impetuous words. She had the memories of Fuhua, but could not understand the motives underpinning them. She loathed Honkai as much as Fuhua, but she was no different from Honkai in action.
Okay, so that's how
Purely
Fuhua
driven by a
became
desire for destruction,
this.
she destroyed. She killed Otto's clone and demolished half of Shixal's headquarters. To prevent her desire for destruction, she fought Durandal and Kevin to trick Fuhua's sentience in Funhuan down into submitting to her. She varnished over her motive time and again. To win the trust of Kiana and Bronya, she lured them into her memories to elicit their sympathy. In the end, she was not Fuhua, but the 8th Herrscher born from her memories. Perhaps to the 8th Herrscher, this story that perpetuated itself for 50,000 years is an elaborated, pitiable tragedy.
Dang.
The Fuhua that constrained herself and lived solely for her mission was nothing but a failure. She wanted to become a better Fuhua. Perhaps the girl bathing in the sun on the grass 50,000 years ago would have had the same idea had she had learned the story of her life. It is a life that has seen too many betrayals, lies, and sacrifices. However, it is also a life that shaped Fuhua into the remarkable fighter that her friends believe in and rely upon. What does the future have in store for her? We will find out together.
Oh, another very informative one. Okay, so yeah, Fuha. When she was, I found out she was like 50,000 years old. I was wondering like the details of that. I may have watched that before, but like I keep saying it, it's not. Everything's like really sinking in kind of now. But so she was in like cryo sleep, I think they said at one point, and then. And then yeah, she Otto like killed her, but then like her sentience was like helping, Bronya and Kiana and everyone, and then got revived. But like Herrscher, that's crazy. That's crazy. Very, very, very interesting. It's cool stuff. Next time, I think we're starting it with an animation that may deal with some of this, but yeah. Well, I think we're almost at an hour, so I don't want to fit too much in one video. I mean, maybe, but we'll be back next time. Yeah, this was a pretty good one. Good session. Feel like we had a little bit long. We had like 2 decently long ones, like a 14-minute and a 9-minute video, and then we had a few 3 and 2-minute videos with like a 5-minute video in there that'll line it up. So yeah, definitely a solid session. We will be back next time, picking up where we left off. I really just go off the time. I don't really go off like what number of videos we watch. So I just go off like how long I low-key shoot for like 40 minutes, but we end up going a little bit over anyhow. So yeah, but hey, we still have a long way to go. So hopefully you guys are still enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it. I'm actually really enjoying this play. So like I keep saying that I'm enjoying rewatching some things. I'm enjoying really like learning some stuff. This has been a pretty cool watch so far. So stay tuned for more of this and more Honkai stuff, and maybe some Honkai-like reactions in general as well. For now though, guys, that is going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like or dislike, subscribe or don't subscribe. It's always up to you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Watch with me. Goodbye.